The stock market doesn't necessarily reflect the state of the economy, as you well know. And the economy's still strong, unemployment's low, jobs are up, manufacturing's good.
Are you worried about the inflation number, though, sir?
No, I'm not, because we're talking about 1/10 of 1%.
President Biden dismissing yesterday's red-hot inflation report and the impact on the economy, which, of course, sent the stock market plunging. Joining me right now is Tennessee Congressman and Appropriations Committee member Chuck Fleischmann. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. You reacted to the August CPI number by saying that the Biden administration and the Democrats' economic policies are doing nothing to slow down inflation. What should they be doing?
They should be doing a host of things. This is just amazing. The Biden-Harris administration has just had a total disconnect. I think, Maria, they should have had a fiddle yesterday for the president, because they're missing what's going on in America right now. What they need to do is focus on basic economics, supply and demand. Get back to cherishing the free enterprise system. Stop dividing Americans on their ability to earn and do well, as opposed to trying to redistribute wealth. Every move they're making is a disaster, and literally they sit around and don't realize what's going on. Total disconnect. Get back to basics. Get entrepreneurs at the White House, get manufacturers, get hardworking Americans, and talk about the things that we were doing in the last administration when we had records in the right direction as opposed to records in the wrong direction.
Well, that's not what they're doing. They're continuing to spend money. The most recent, of course, is this student loan bailout, which estimates say will cost between $500 billion and $1 trillion, more spending on top of the other spending that we've seen. What are you going to do about it? Should the GOP take the majority in November?
Well, I think we have to stop the madness. Every gimmick that they come up with on the Democratic side is because they have failed economically, they failed with their foreign policy, and through these failures, what do Democrats do? They pivot to their giveaways. They go to their gimmicks. This last gimmick was really something that was a terrible gimmick on the student loan forgiveness. Outrageous. This is going to cost the American taxpayers billions, and guess what? It hurt them politically, because a lot of Americans said, what about me? I didn't go to college because I couldn't afford a student loan, or I paid mine back. Again, they're dividing us at a time they should be uniting us. It's just not working.
Congressman James Freeman here from the Wall Street Journal. Wanted to ask you, obviously food prices, a big part of that downer report yesterday, up 13.5% over the last year. Politico had a story this week quoting a Kansas state economist who had gone through the Inflation Reduction Act, saying, when you look at food, a lot of this is about conservation, not production. Is this law actually going to mean we get less agricultural production in the U.S.?
I hope not, but it's got that potential. Again, the Biden-Harris administration got it wrong because they don't respect the producers. I go out and I say, look, the farmers have done it well for years, for centuries. I trust them to produce in America. I trust manufacturers to produce in America. I trust business to produce in America. This administration has no respect for producers and for people who actually grow the economy. They're antithetical to that. They want to divide and do that. So the answer is potentially yes, but we really need to get this right at the ballot box. Bottom line, the American people, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, or Independent, need to fix this in November. This is a train wreck.
Meanwhile, he is selling oil from the Strategic Reserve. The administration reportedly considering replenishing the Strategic Petroleum Reserve when oil dips below $80 a barrel. Just 2 years ago, Democrats blocked the Trump administration from refilling the reserve when oil was at $24 a barrel, Congressman. So Trump filled it up. He's selling it, and now we're at dangerously low levels.
Absolutely. Another failed policy. Why? Because when they saw gas prices go through the roof because of Biden's failed policies, what did they do? They said, let's do a short-term fix and sell off the oil reserve. Americans lose again. Why? Because now we've got that big gap at $80. Thank God it's not at $100, but still, Trump did it right at $24. Democrats, as opposed to doing what's good for the American people and the economy, are going to do what's good for the political fix of the day. That's not good. It's not a short-term fix. It's a long-term disaster.
Congressman, it's Monica Crowley. Good morning. We're talking about raging inflation as direct result of the Democrats spending trillions and trillions of dollars. What are you hearing about a potential new spending bill in the lame duck session after the midterms before January 1st?
Well, I'm glad you raised that. First of all, we're going to have to deal with the budget before September 30th. My anticipation is that we'll get a short-term continuing resolution CR into December. That's the budget for fiscal 2023. Having said that, I don't think there will be an appetite, particularly after the elections, in which Republicans should do very well in the House and the Senate. Let's face it, this is up to the American people to fix it at the ballot box. Certainly, they got it wrong with Joe Biden and Harris 2 years ago. We did not get the majority in the House. We came close. And the Senate, that loss of those two Georgia Senate seats was just a sheer disaster and really pivoted Biden to the left. Having said that, I don't think there's going to be an appetite for that. Will the Democrats try? Sure, they'll always try their giveaways and their gimmicks. But the reality is that the American people have had enough. We need fiscal responsibility. We need fiscal conservatism.
Well, can your colleagues stop agreeing with Democrats then on more spending, like the CHIPS bill, the infrastructure bill, the other bill, the Manchin-Schumer bill, so that they actually do something about the border? Kamala Harris claims it's a secure border, even though 2 million people have been apprehended and almost 1 million other gotaways.
Maria, as you know, I'm the ranking member, highest Republican on Homeland Security appropriations. You're absolutely right. The border is beyond a disaster. It's porous. It's open for criminals. It's often open for all types of other offenders.
But they're not going to do anything about it if your colleagues keep agreeing with them on new deals.
Agreed, but really what bothers me most about this is these Democratic bills as we look at them in progression, and they've all been failures. They've been large, they've been failures, but the problem is they've outmaneuvered Republicans. I think really that's the sad part about it. It's not only agreeing for it, they outmaneuvered Manchin and Sinema on this last deal. Manchin just realized it, and he's a Democrat. So they're going to continue to play games. You're absolutely right. We need to restore fiscal responsibility, spend where we need to spend on defense, on real infrastructure and things like that. But really, we've got to get this economy going again and focus on real growth, reducing taxes, reducing regulations, and reducing real spending.
Right. Well, they want to raise taxes, just to be clear. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for weighing in, and we'll be watching your moves in your leadership position. Congressman Fleischmann, thank you.